Okay, so for today's math lesson, we're going to be focusing on quite a bit of different things. We're going to start out by talking about one important thing known as coins. And as you can see up here, I have some coin values, and we're going to talk a little bit about them. The first coin value is right here. This is what's known as a penny. A penny is worth 1 cent. That's how we draw the word cent. Or we can write it out like this. A penny is worth 1 cent. The next type of coin we're going to be looking at is this one. And this one right here is known as a nickel. This nickel is worth 5 cents. Or cent can be written like this. The next one we're going to be looking at is another one that looks just like this. And this one right here is called a dime. And a dime is worth 10 cents. And then finally, the last one we're looking at is this one right here. This one is a quarter. A quarter is worth 25 cents. Okay, so looking at all of our coins right here, because we're going to start doing some work on it, the penny is the smallest coin. That penny is worth 1 cent. A nickel would be the next, that's worth 5 cents. A dime would be worth 10 cents, and a quarter would be worth 25 cents. Now there's two of these that look very, very similar. But we can tell how they're different if we're able to see a couple things. So this one right here is a penny, and this one right here, let me turn it so it's the right way, is a dime. They look about the same size here, but if we look a little closely at the penny first of all is copper, so it's that color. But if you have a sheet that doesn't have color, it might throw you off. And the dime is usually silver. But if we look at the dime, we can see that the word liberty is right there, over there, and there's the face. Whereas this one, if we look at the penny has a picture of Abe Lincoln, which is pretty easy to figure out. But also, what if you just have the back? Well, here's the back of a penny, and there is that building, and here we have the back of a dime. So you can see they have two different backings. And this one actually will say right here, if you look at the dime, it says 1 dime. So that's one way you can tell the difference. Okay. The other one we have, they're kind of similar, but as we can tell, the quarter is the largest one that we're looking at today. And if we see the word liberty is all the way across the top for the quarter, where it's not on the nickel. The nickel is smaller than the quarter. If I put these on top of each other like this, let's go this way, you'll see that the quarter underneath it is much bigger. And let's take a look at their backs too. Put that back right there, that's an eagle. See the eagle? And on the back of this one we have the building again. Okay? So that's one way to tell it apart. We're not digging too much into coins today because we're going to be continuing those on our lessons. But we do have to be aware of them because we may have to add them together. So what else are we going to talk about today? I want to refresh us just about place value facts, finding place value facts with large numbers. We've been working with 3-digit place value numbers, so if I have the number 512 and I'm going to put that in place value fact form, I would say that's 500 plus 10 plus 2 equals 512. Okay? But what if we had it written another way? And we did this yesterday, so this should seem like review. What if I had the problem already like this? I have 600 plus 80 plus 2. Well, how would I write that as my answer? It's already broken apart or deconstructed. But now the question becomes how do we put this into the number? Well, I start with my first number, which is clearly 600. See the 2 zeros after it? I know there's 2 zeros after it, so I know I'm going to start with my 6. My next number is 80, and 80 has an 8 in the tens place and a 0 in the ones place, so place value wise I know my next place value over from 100 is the tens. That 0 here means nothing, and then finally I have the 2, which is a ones digit, so that's in the ones place, so this has to be 682. You can solve those any way like that. I don't want to keep going into that since that's what we worked on yesterday. But what I do want to focus on today is a little bit of review of finding missing numbers like this. So here I have a number family with the letter M here and 40 here. So first of all, let's figure out which are my big and small numbers. My big number here in this number family, and I'm going to put a big B by it, is 40, and one of my small numbers is S. So my small number here is M because it's on the line. So if I wanted to solve this problem, because I'm missing a small number, we all know small starts with an S, subtraction starts with an X. So that's what I would do to solve this, but we're not really solving for letters here. But if this was written out, like we've seen before, it might say one of the two following things. It might say 40 is more than M, because 40 is bigger, or it might say M is less than 40. That's what it might say there. So here becomes a question, because we've done things like this. I'm going to erase these numbers here and letter, then I'm going to erase this. And let's see how we do on this. And actually I'm going to get rid of my little box here. So let's say I had the number 23, and I'm using bigger numbers, and I have a 51 here, and I have a box here. And let's say I had the question, let's say it's a question 1, and I would have 23 blank than 51. And then down here, let's say I have two choices, more or less. I want to put one of these words into this missing blank, but which word's going to fit? Well, I have to figure out what my numbers are. We already said the number over here, we put a big B here, that's 51. So which means that this 23 has to be a small number. So to find a small number I would use subtraction. So looking at this, is 23 going to be more than 51? Or is 23 going to be less than 51? If to find the missing number here, I would have to subtract, because it's a big number, then what I would put here is that 23 is less than 51. And I say that because I'm going to have to add another number to 23 here to get 51. So that number has to be smaller than 51. So if that number is smaller than 51, 23 has to be smaller than 51, because I can't add two small numbers and have them be more than what my big number is. Okay, let's try another one like that. I'm actually going to get rid of this to really test you guys. So here I have my number line, and I have the question 43. I'm going to switch it up actually. I just thought about it. 48 is blank 43. Actually, let's change this 43 into a letter. We'll call it P. 48 is either less or more than P. So is 48 less than P, or is 48 more than P? Well, let's look at it. 48 is after the arrow, so that means that that's the big number. And P is on the line, which means that P is a small number. So if I know that 48 is a big number, and I know that P is a small number, would it make sense that 48, would it be more than P or would it be less than P? Think about that for a second. If you said it would be more, then you were correct because it's the larger number. Whatever this number is, it's going to add to this number and it's going to equal this. So it has to be smaller than 48. So it has to be less. So 48 is bigger. So 48 is more than P. All right. One last one, and then I'm going to give you some worksheet stuff. Oh no, earthquake. Oh. Okay. I'll use P again, and we'll make this just 12. And I have the question, 21 is blank than P. Is it going to be less, or is it going to be more? Looking at this, P is clearly my small number because it's on the number family line, and 12 is the big number because it's off of the number family line, right? Correct. So the question becomes, why did I write 21 is the question, because I wrote the number 12 up here. So is 12 going to be more, or is it going to be less than P because it's the bigger number? It's going to be more because it's the bigger number. It's that simple. So right now, go ahead, stop this video. It's going to end, and there's some worksheets with some work you guys are going to be doing. Have a good weekend.